You're all welcome to BIO122 class. S.A. Clement is my name. I'm one of the three um, lecturers to take this course. Course synopsis for this course is as follow. In week 1, we shall look at phylum Platyhelminths. In week 2, phylum Ascomyths. In week 3, phylum Mollusca and phylum Annelida. In order to understand this course, we shall look at the term phylum. The term phylum was coined by Ernst Haeckel, 1866, and is derived from the Greek word phylon, associated with phyle tribe. A phylum is a scientific term grouping together related organisms on the basis of their fundamental characteristics. Fundamental characteristics here, serve as a platform for, grouping together organisms under this phylum. A common system of biological classification is known as taxonomy, which consists of 8 levels. All right, so we have the domain, we have the kingdom, we have the phylum, we have the class, we have the order, we have the family, we have the genus and the species. But then the phylum is located at the 3rd level of this, classification. The phylum is the 3rd most broad taxonomy level, all right, and it includes Porifera, Arthropoda, Echinodemata, we have Hemipodata, Chordata, Platyhelminths, Ascomyths, Mollusca, and Annelida, among others. The topic for this week actually is going to be on phylum Platyhelminths. Phylum Platyhelminths are generally regarded as, flatworms, belong to kingdom Animalia, and this about 13,000 species. Members of the phylum range in the size of single cell organism, um, most especially around 2 to 3 feet long. Examples of platyhelminths, we have the common tapeworm, all right, and then we have the planaria as well as flukes, particularly liver flukes. Liver fluke is one of the examples. Characteristic of platyhelminths. They are dorsal-ventrally flattened without any segments and appear like a leaf. Of course, dorsal-ventrally flattened. This inform the organism, the naming of this organism, because they are actually, flats, and also they possess leaf-like shape. Okay, so they possess the shape of leaves. They may be free living or parasitic. Free living in the sense that many of them, under this category are scavengers, and so while others are parasitic, meaning that they rely completely on their host for survival. They are triploblastic, acolymates, and bilaterally symmetrical. All right, triploblastic, meaning that they have three level of tissues. Okay, so which are ectoderm, mesoderm, and then ectoderm. And then acolomates, meaning that they lack body cavity, and bilaterally symmetrical, meaning that they can be, viewed from lateral sides, the both lateral sides, and then line of symmetry that, you know, divide the or run through the central, the central part of the organism, um, which divide the lateral side into equal parts. They are hermaphrodites, meaning that male and female sex organ are, located in the same body of the organism. They possess the quality of regeneration, and this can easily be seen in planaria. Okay, so can easily um, regrow. Okay, when cut into, several parts. Each part can easily, um, grow. All right, so this form the unique characteristic of organism under this particular um, platyhelminths. They respire by simple diffusion through the body, surfaces. Okay, so um, diffusion, um, respiration is through the body surface. They are devoid of the anus and circulatory system, but has mouth. Okay, so um, this mouth is where, they inject um, or take in food material into the body, and then some of them also expel through the same um, mouth. A typical example is planaria. Okay, so while others, have well structured um, body. The flame cells, is responsible for excretion, in the organism, and then the balance the internal and then the external environment through a process known as osmoregulation. Classification of platyhelminths. Well, platyhelminths are classified into four classes. Um, three of the classes are parasitic, and then one of the classes, you know, are organisms under that particular, class are known as free living. Okay, so the classes under this um, category, which are parasitic, a typical example is Tramatoda, we have monogeny, and then cestoda. Why the non or the free living, which is tuberularia, all right, is tuberularia. So we're going to look at each of the class, and then um, look at the organisms under each class. For example, the class tuberularia, we have Ethocotila, which is a commensal. Of course, commensal meaning that, they live in the host, but do not cause, serious harm to the host. We have planaria. Under the planaria, we have the planaria that lives, the aquatic planaria, those that live in water, and then we have those that live on the land, which are known as a bipalium. Okay, so and then we have Anaperos, marine flatworm, Garatris, marine interstitial species. Okay, so and then we have the Laura horseshoe crab. It's also a commercial, and then digestia water that lives in water. Um, This is a typical structure of a planaria, anatomy of a planaria. At the anterior end, we could see the eye spot, the brain, you know, towards the anterior end. While at the ventral surface, we could see the mouth at the, ventral region towards the posterior end of the organism. This makes this organism to be unique, you know, because the mouth is located at the ventral parts of the organism, and we can also see that it has protonephridia, which is responsible for, excretion, expelling waste products from this organism. And then we have the ventral nerve cord here. Um, this is a typical example of planaria. Those ventrally flattened planaria, of course, this is planaria with dorsal surface, and then we have the ventral surface of the planaria with the mouth, and the pharynx is here with you know genital part, which is located here, and then we have the anterior and the posterior end of the organism known as planaria. Also under this class we have bipalium. Bipalium is this is bipalium here, filamentor in shape. We have dogetia also with oracle. This is dogetia, and we have dolera, which has adhesive sucker and is like leaf shape, has leaf shape. And this, are other examples of organisms under this class. So let's look at the characteristic of tubellaria. One, we said tubellaria are free-living aquatic and terrestrial, organisms. Of course, some of them are free-living, while some are aquatic. Um, some of them are also terrestrial, okay, aquatic and terrestrial. Some live in water, while some live on land. Body size range from few meters, millimeter to 50 centimeter, meaning that some are, very small, while some are large in size. Anacolomate, grade of body constriction. Colomate meaning that, they lack body cavity with low level of cephalization. Um, they have their sense organ built towards the anterior end of the organisms. Okay, but it's not well pronounced. Okay, this can be seen in the case of planaria, as an example. Most tubellaria move by cilia. Okay, cilia is parts that aid in movement. All right, especially um, planaria. Planaria has cilia at the ventral surface, which aid its movement from one point to another, and also to um, search for um, food. Excretion by protonephridia. We have seen this in the structure of planaria, which has nephridia responsible for expelling waste products out of its body. Most tubellaria are predators and scavengers. Okay, some are you know, um, predators and then scavengers, while some, feed on veg, that is vegetation. They are herbivorous, and then some of them are commercial, while some are parasitic. Commercial in the sense that, they live in the host cell, but they do not cause harm to the host. While the parasitic organisms under this class, they live in the host cell, but you know um, end up um, causing harm. All right, harming the host. Hermaphrodites, meaning that organisms under this class have both male and female sex organ located in the same body. Class Tubellaria. Examples we can have we have the flukes. Of course, we have different type of flukes. Flukes are named based on where they are, located. We have those that are located um, in blood, those located in liver, and then there are some that are located around the lungs. So we have different types of flukes, okay, and we have the schistosome. We have the schistosome, and then we have other organisms like Paragonimus, and then we have Clonochis as example of organisms under this class. But let's look at one example of flukes, which is liver fluke. Okay, liver fluke. This is a typical example of liver fluke, which has a shape of leaf and well-labeled structure. We have the mouth, the pharynx, and then we have the genital and other component of this organism. We have the uterus and then so on and so forth. We have the sucker here, and this is it. We have the anterior end, and then we have the posterior end of this organism, as well as the ovary, the knife. You know, so this is the structure of liver fluke. Well, we have other examples under this class. We have the clonoches. This is clonoches, all right, has in a form of is spherical in shape with oral sucker, esophagus, intestine, uterus, gonopore, yolk gland, yolk duct, and so a whole lot of other parts of its body. Then we have another example, which is Paragonimus. It's almost like a circle, um, and then it has oral sucker, pharynx, intestine, ventral sucker, ovary, oviduct, a whole lot of parts which are responsible for different functions of its body. And then we have the schistosome. Schistosome is, has, kind of is filamental in shape. And we can see that it has oral sucker, esophagus, and then female and male organ located in the same body. These are some of the examples of organisms under this class. Characteristic of a trematoda, we have um, uh, all are parasitic, all right, meaning that they live completely in the host, um, rely completely on the host for their survival. occurring especially in vertebrates. Of course, vertebrates, refer to organisms with the spinal cord. Okay, so which serve as host to these organisms, which are, parasitic in nature. Body cylindrical or leaf shape. We have seen this, in some of the organisms under this particular class. Um, Radite or cilia are absent, unlike what we had in planaria. In planaria, cilia was present, and of course was located at the ventral, surface of the organism, which aid in movement. But in this class, um, we are saying that cilia, are absent. Body covered by cortical. Cortical are actually covering on the body, which serve as which protect the organism from, you know, um, anything that could, harm the tissue. All right, so meaning that it's defensive, serve as what defensive mechanism. Suckers and acetabulum present for attachment. Of course, suckers um, uh, serve as a point of attachment to the host organism. So it's you know a very vital component or part of its body. Mouth is anteriorly situated, unlike what we had in planarium. In planarium, we had the mouth, located towards the ventral, surface of the organism, and which was at the posterior end of the organism. But in this class, we saying that mouth is at the anterior towards the head part of the organism. Well-developed gut is present. So the next class is class monogeny. Monogeny, examples of monogeny, we have polystoma. Polystomas are, found in bladder of frogs. And another example is polystomodella. Polystomodella. Okay, so polystomodella, are, part of this class, and they are found in urinary bladder of turtles. And then we have the dactylogarus, okay, dactylogarus. They are located in the gills of freshwater fishes. So this is a typical example of polystomodella, and then with a round shape of oral sucker. We have the pharynx, the genital port, the vesicle. We have the egg, the uterus, the sperm duct, and a whole lot of other body parts located on this organism. We also have dactylogarus. All right, so this is the structure of dactylogarus, with the anterior end, we could see the head organs, the eye spot, the pharynx, the ovary, and then towards the posterior end, we could see the opistator. Opistator is located towards the posterior end of the organism. So this is the structure of dactylogarus, and then the structure of polystomodella under the class monogeny. Characteristic of monogeny is anterior and has also adhesive gland. Um, this is a typical um, characteristic that we could see on this class. So they have the adhesive glands at the head region, that is the anterior region of the organisms. They respire aerobically, um, being ectoparasites, of course, since they are always on the surface of the host. They require a lot of oxygen to survive. All right, to you know continue living require oxygen, meaning that they are aerobic. All right, they engage or exhibit the characteristic of being aerobic. So monogenes, monogeneous have inconspicuous protonephridia or excretion. So protonephridia is the organ responsible for expelling waste products out of the body of the organisms, okay, under this particular class. All members are hermaphrodites, meaning that both male and female sex organ are located in the same organisms. One egg, by way of a ciliate larva. Okay, so in this case, they give rise to one adult worm. Okay, so that necessitates the name mono, which is one. Okay, meaning that they only give rise to one, adult worm, and then exhibit one generation. The class Cestoda, of course, they are parasitic. A typical example of this um, is the Tenia solum, which is common tapeworm. And then we have the Echinococcus granulosus. Okay, so these are examples of organisms under this particular, class known as Cestoda. So this is tapeworm with the at the anterior end we can see the scolex and the proglottid, where the immature eggs are stored. All right, so and segmented, we could see each segment of the organism, and each segment sometimes possess both male and female. Um, we could see male and female organ on each segment. That makes them to be unique, organism under this under the phylum, under this particular phylum. So they are hermaphrodites, meaning that both male and female sense organ, they are located on the same body. So also we can see Echinococcus granulosus, which is located here, and then with well-labeled structure, hooklet, and then we have the rostellum, the sucker, the scolex, the neck, the immature proglottid, and then the mature proglottid, are all located, around the body of the organism. All right, so we can see a kind of segment here, a segment here, and neck here, and then we can see the head with sucker, scolex, and then a rostellum, and as well as hooklets. Characteristic of Cestuda, we have about endoparasitic hermits. All right, so meaning that they live in the host. All right, so hermits refer to worm, meaning that they are worm that live in the organism, whose body is covered by sil, okay, syncytia tegument, okay, you know, responsible for, you know, covering the surface of this particular organism or worm. Custodians have special tegmental modification associated with what? Nutrient uptake. All right. So um, they are as well, they lack a mouth and tract, digestive tract. So um, this tegmental, modification is responsible for nutrient uptake, especially for this particular organisms under this class. Organs of attachment in the form of hooks and suckers are present. We could see that under the, especially the tapeworm. Okay, so absence of sense organs or sense organs, absence. Each segment except the head and neck is provided with one or two, with uh, complete sex organs. Okay, sex organs. Okay, sex organs. And they are hermaphrodites, meaning that they have both male and female organ located um, in the same body of the organism. Life cycle is complicated and involve a larval stage. Okay, so they have complicated life cycle, which in the next class we are going to look at, the life cycle of some of the organisms in this class. Okay. Um, uh, for now, let's just pick one of the uh, life cycle of one of the organism. Let's pick. We are looking at Tinea solum. Tinea solum is commonly known as tapeworm. Okay, so this is um, life cycle of tapeworm. Probably in the next class, in week 2, we shall look at um, other life cycle if possible, or we move. Even this is a very good example to even show under this class. So let's look at the first is the eggs. We are looking at the eggs of you know uh, tapeworm, common tapeworm, and then these eggs are laid and then are available in the environment, which could be in form of you know feces, can be in feces, present in feces, um, of course, which um, are defecated by human. All right. So as the human that has this tapeworm in them defecates, it will come with the um, egg of tapeworm mixed with the feces of the human. Then these feces are, taken by pigs or the host, intermediate host, um, and then you know they are later, you know, sometimes these hosts are killed and then, taken by um, human as meat, most especially when they are not well cooked. Um, they infect the tissue. This is a typical example of, you know, infection showing on this tissue. Okay, so um, when they are taken in by human, um, they could cause harm in the small intestine of human, and then, you know, cause other complication in human as the human defecates, it passes away the eggs to the environment. So this is the life cycle of this particular organism. Please continue from egg located around the environment in the feces taken by the intermediate host, pig, you know, consumed by the human, and then later, the egg passed through different stages of development, then later fully develop in small intestines, and then lay eggs. The eggs are later passed out to the environment, and then the life cycle continues. We can also look at this is the adult stage in the small intestine, and then this blue um, arrow, is also indicating the direction of the organism, that is the egg of the organism, you know, um, as it take in into the by the human, it could cause kind of damage, to the tissue of the human, which is later shown here. We can see the formation of you know damage, growth on the tissue. So this is how the tapeworm affects the human, and it's a way of illustrating how this organism, you know, live. Okay, and then the effect or the damage on the host. So this is the life cycle of tapeworm. Um, uh, then with this, I believe um, we have done justice to week one. We shall look forward to week two. Before then, I'm going to give this assignment to the class. The first is to explain the anatomy and physiology of planaria. So I expect you to do justice to this, and then highlight the life cycle of sheep liver fluke. This is a specific example. You are to highlight the life cycle of a sheep liver fluke. Then the third part of the assignment is to describe the reproduction in Tinea solum. Tinea solum is commonly referred to as tapeworm. So these are the three assignments for this week. I expect this assignment to be submitted before next class. Thank you. See you in next class.